Well, you know what? I can look right now, and sweet Kathleen Aldridge says that we are gorgeous. So I'm 100% going to read that, even though not everybody's on here yet.
Catherine, I wore my eye traps today.
So I wanted to talk about the eye traps. Crap. You cannot say stuff before we start recording.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, she ruined it. Holy crap.
Well, that's okay because Amarilla scared me to death.
Y'all.
Because I had to go pick her up from her house because she lost her keys.
My daughter did.
Her daughter lost the keys. And then my own daughter scared me to death. So I've had 2 heart attacks before we even started recording.
Look, we've already lost one listener.
Okay. They said,
this is enough.
I don't know, it was those 2.
That must be Ox 23.
Or, get it?
Yeah. That was Ox 23.
He said, already with the unnecessary
already laughing. They're already laughing. We're out.
Or, get it.
I'm out. So. I'm out. All right. You know what? I mean, we should just jump in. I don't have any notes. Did you make notes?
Listen, I made great notes. They're on that phone right there. That's recording us. So we can't really look
this
at
through.
them, but my mind is so good, and I'm so hot on this topic.
And otherwise.
And thank you. Happy anniversary to you too.
I know.
Okay. Mwah. 3 years, y'all. Can you believe it? I don't think I've ever done anything besides parenting for 3 years consecutively.
Consecutive. Okay, Michael Scott. It's unkillable.
Unkillable. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. I don't know who's here. Like, I would love to see who's here, but I can't tell.
First?
Well, I don't know. I can't tell.
Overview?
I don't know. Like, there's the people right there, but I can't tell.
Say your names real quick before we start recording so we can say hey.
Say your names.
Say your name. Say your name. Oh, y'all did not know about that harmony.
You're so stupid. I'm so sorry. Folks, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's see. Paige. Hey, Paige.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Beth.
I wish my eyes were good.
Have you, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, Beth.
The Duggars.
Krista Barrows, how are you doing, sister?
Hey, girl.
All right.
I really need glasses.
You do need glasses. All right, let's just jump in.
Okay.
So you want to tell everybody one more time, because there's been some folks that have joined us.
Are you recording already?
Yeah, I've been recording this whole time.
So basically what we're going to do tonight is we're going to record like we regularly would. And then at the end, we're going to go to you guys for questions and answers or comments or things that you want to talk about that maybe we didn't cover. But because of recording, we have to kind of get it all in a certain amount of time, and it will really help with Amaryllis's editing if we can just go straight through. So what we'll do is just wait till the end to do that stuff and talk to you guys. So that means you have to watch the entire time. Sorry.
All right, hang on.
Hope you're not busy.
All right, are we ready?
Hey, Lauren. Oh, no, that's Lee. Hey, Lee. See, I need glasses.
Look, right here. Look,
Jay?
look.
Oh.
Cindy, Beth,
Hey,
Paige,
girl.
Kathleen, Krista,
Gina,
and Lee, and Jay. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is what we do when we start. And actually, if we're actually really recording, if Misty's at my, because tonight we're at Misty's house.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, if we're at my house, we've already spent 2 hours talking.
Yes. This is
exhausting, and about everything except for the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've solved the world's problems, and we probably talked about you.
right. Yeah, we can't do that live.
No, we
and
can't
also,
do that live.
before we begin, can I give a little disclaimer?
Please.
We edit a lot. Okay, so like we say very inappropriate things that we shouldn't say, and now we're on live, and we have to be really careful about what we say because we can't edit this. So if your playback is not on there tomorrow, it's because we've said something we shouldn't have said, and we've had to delete this.
And we want to keep singing solos at church, and if some of that stuff stays on,
we're done.
We're done.
We're going to call the pastor's office.
That's right.
Sunday. So I need y'all to keep it on the down low.
Yep.
Be a good friend.
Yep.
And just pray for us. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to do the best we can.
Ready? Hey, Misty.
Hey, Amaryllis.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
What's been going on?
Oh, goodness. So many things.
Misty had to come get me tonight.
I did. I had to come
At
get
my house.
Amaryllis.
She said she had told everybody. She told everybody we're going to go on at 9:00. And
We know
at
that's a lie.
8:30, I said I can't find my keys anywhere. My daughter had used my van earlier today. She did a closet clean out. She wanted a van to take all these clothes that she was donating, and then she said, "I promise I put it in your purse. Put them in your purse." Lies. They weren't in there. I mean, anyway, so
Amaryllis.
Misty said, "I'll just come get you." She didn't say, "Why don't we just go to your house?" She said, "Why don't I just come get you, and we'll come back to my house, and we'll just be late, and we'll just be."
Hey, do y'all want to say something that really happens on the podcast? Can we stop and start again so I can turn that dishwasher off?
They can't hear it.
That sound is going to be in the background.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's too far.
Can y'all hear it? You really think you won't be able to hear that? Okay.
No, you won't.
All right. Okay, so we'll start back at. See, this is what we have to do. Because we interrupt each other.
Okay.
But I'm scared because it's at my house. And who would have thought out of the two of us that you would be the one to lose your keys and not me?
Well, yeah, I didn't. My daughter did.
That's never your fault.
And
Never.
so then when we got here, I said, "There's a man in your yard." She freaked out. She had a massive come apart, and it was her husband in the yard.
Well, now this is after I just almost ran over somebody in the street
Yeah, that's true.
trying to walk in a dark street.
true.
Why would you do that? And then right after that, we're coming in and getting ready to record, and I'm like, where's my purse? Like, I got to find my phone. And so I'm looking everywhere, and I'm like, I know I brought it in. So I go outside to see if I left it in the car, and my car is running outside. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have left my car running. And I go to look around, and there's somebody inside of my car.
It never. Do you never think the best? Like, do you never think? Do you never? I mean, that's not meant. Like, that's just meant to ask. Like, is it ever? You always go to like the worst possible thing that it could
Yes.
be, or is there never like a thought in your brain that says, "Hey, I bet that's Avery because she
no.
just told me she's going to the
No,
grocery store."
nothing in my brain says, hey, there's probably a logical explanation for this. My first thought is, well, it's your time.
Yeah,
You're about to
you're
get
done.
murdered.
Okay.
And so I walked out and I was like, oh, gosh, well, I've left my car running, which I've done that before. And when I go to look, I went to a whole restaurant one time.
Okay, well, I'm laughing at you, but I actually have done that
And
too.
came back out, and I was like, oh.
I did that too. I went to Catalina's summer show offs one time, and I got back in the car, and I was like, well, it sure is nice and cool in this
cool in
car.
here. It's a great feature. It's
I
called
left it on for 2 hours.
It's called I didn't turn my car off.
2 hours.
So I look around and there's somebody in the car, and I'm like, well, I'm done. Our 3-year anniversary, and I'm done. And it's Avery. And I screamed and I jumped, and I had another heart attack. And then I said some not nice words to her, and I got my keys, and I got my purse. And I was like,
I got to go because the
thanks
people
a
are
lot.
waiting.
Yeah, the people are waiting.
Yeah.
There's at least 19 people that want to hear this, okay?
All
20,
of us
18. Never mind, 18.
It was 20.
That
Now
was,
they're gone.
that was a passerby. Anyway,
They said this is not what I thought it
they
was going to
said,
be.
we're not going to do that.
Hey, it is our 3-year anniversary. Like, today is our 3-year anniversary. Today is the day that we actually put into action what we said we would do a few days before. And we went and we recorded at this local coffee shop. And then we we did this amazing episode on Bikram, the
Bikram.
yoga guy. It was so good. And then when I went to edit it, because it was the first time I had ever done anything like that, I had not turned the microphones on, and it was like you could not hear anything that we said at all.
Sounded like an echo.
It was terrible, and you could hear the espresso machine in the background. Y'all, it was the pandemic, and we walked into this coffee shop, and we were like, we're here because we know that you have a private room, and we just helped ourselves to the private room.
Yeah.
We just walked into the private room, and we said, we're here to record. And then when we were leaving, they were like, you owe us $50.
Hey, could you pay us for that? And
Yeah.
we were like, oh.
We
Whoops.
bought a latte.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought that this was free.
Yeah, it was not free.
Sorry.
It was not free. So
Yeah.
anyway, so then we had to re-record a couple days later, and On the Dock was born.
And then we were like, man, we sound just as good the second time.
And straight facts.
It
yeah,
really
straight
was.
facts.
And that's not the only episode we've had to re-record.
number of times we've had to do it.
number of times
Yes.
we've had to do it. But,
Yeah, honestly, I'm
yeah.
just glad that we're actually double recording tonight.
Yeah,
So
we're
this
gonna
is
catch
actually-
we're gonna catch this thing.
This is great. I'll have to extract audio or something somehow. If
yeah.
I don't know how I'll
Have
do
we
that,
checked to
but-
make sure these microphones are recording?
Yeah, see the
Oh,
waveforms right here.
Okay. I mean, I
Yeah,
never.
this is what. Yeah, well, you never get to see what I'm looking at, but
I never
because
know.
you're on the other side of the
I'm
room.
just the talent.
That's right. I'm the beauty. I don't know why you're laughing. Hey, speaking of beautiful, let's talk about these Duggars.
Hey, let's play a little game. Can we play a game before we start?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'd like to play a game called Name That Eye Trap. Okay? And so basically what we're going to do, if you don't know what an eye trap is, it's something on the female body in the way that she dresses,
Their clothes,
the way
yeah.
she wears her hair, that could cause lust within a man's heart that can't be righteously fulfilled. Okay?
Well, our hair is much too short.
No, much too short and not permed.
No,
or
no,
curled.
no. I'm curly today.
You're a
like
little
I'm a
curly.
little bit wavy today.
Yeah.
So I think I would pass that test.
Yeah.
But definitely not.
So look at me, and I want you to point out all my eye traps and why they're eye traps, because I think this will be a great lesson.
The number one thing that I can't get past is the straight hair.
Oh, well, this is really.
It is a stumbling block.
Okay. Is this how whoremongers wear their hair?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, it's dyed.
Oh, bleached.
I've heard.
It's bleached. I paid good money for this. Okay.
And toned, bleached and toned.
And toned, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
Mhm.
You did not even appreciate what the Lord gave you.
No,
so
I don't.
you fixed it.
Mhm.
There's too much of this going on.
A lot of this.
A lot of shoulder.
Oh, hey.
A lot of shoulder.
Hey, guys. A
lot of shoulder.
Shoulders are not acceptable.
They are not. Now you are wearing long pants that cover your legs, but they are pants. And that's man clothes.
Oh, okay.
That's man clothes.
And also, before I put these on, I had on jean shorts.
Straight to hell.
And they had holes in them.
Like you're poor.
Which are eye traps all on their own.
Where were those holes?
Where
I remember
those
you like to wear clothes with holes in them.
Yeah. So, I'd like to name the eye traps on you.
Zero.
You
I
think-
specifically
Oh.
dressed Duggar-like tonight because we were talking Duggar.
Oh, you think you don't have any eye traps?
Well, I mean, my beauty.
You're wrong. First off, the bigger the hoop, the bigger the what?
That's right.
Okay.
The bigger the what? I
I'm
don't
not
know.
going to say it, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Also, I see you've adorned your nose with a piercing.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Um,
That's right.
Shame, for shame.
Yeah. I
Um,
love this piercing.
Also, these glossy buttons attract my eye to your bosom. And so that's a no-no. We
Yeah.
don't do that. We do not do that.
Okay.
Let's see
That's
what
fair.
else. Also, you've gone heavy on the makeup today.
I did. I went glam
You
tonight.
did. You went really glam, and you don't need to do that. You don't. Chapstick and Visine. That's it.
Visine.
Yeah, clear eyes from where you've been crying because your husband has had to spank you. Rhett had to
Not
put,
in a good way.
not in the enjoyable way.
Not in a good way.
Rhett has had to put you in the corner because you did not obey. So
Okay, look, I grew up Bill Gothard adjacent.
okay,
I did not. I went to a small Christian school. Jay knows he went to that school too, and I bet he has something to say about it.
oh Jay,
Yeah, he'll. And we'll talk to him when all this is done.
Jay, stay
I
tuned.
grew up Bill Gothard adjacent. Like in my home, it wasn't like that. That was. I mean, Cubans are not into Bill Gothard.
Oh, okay.
We don't. Have you seen how we Cubans like to dress and how we like to dance?
Well, us white folks is.
Yeah, so
We really
so
love Bill Gothard.
in my home, Bill Gothard was not a thing. I mean, I grew up in a nice conservative little Christian home, but it was not Bill Gothard like. However, the little school that I went to
Christian.
liked to play around with Bill Gothard. Yeah.
Oh, just dabble.
So, well, yeah, because we had leadership that really we encouraged academics. I mean, there was never one time that they said to me or to anyone that I could hear, you as a woman, your role is to train to be a wife and mother. And that's it. Like, or even if that's what you want to do, you still need to go to school. You still need to be a well-rounded person. It was never, so academically, it wasn't like Bill Gothard in that sense. But we had Bible class every single day. And I remember that umbrella teaching, the God and husband and whatever. So I remember that, and I do remember what thinking back on it now can only be lessons from those wisdom books.
Oh.
And I can't say that with 100% certainty, but I feel like I remember that. Like that is where we got these lessons. And I knew a couple of families that were very Bill Gothard
Really?
entrenched. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we're seeing with the Duggars, a lot of times what happens with that, they overcorrect.
Right.
When you become an adult, you start thinking, first of all, if that's what faith in God and faith in Jesus is, I want no part of it.
Right.
So we're leaving. Or it's a long traumatic journey to come to real truth.
Yeah.
So I grew up, I don't know how we ended up on this topic, but I grew up Bill Gothard adjacent. So I kind of feel like a kinship a little bit to these people. Because
I do too. And for those of you who are new listeners, or maybe this is the first time you're tuning in, Amaryllis and I both are Christians, and we love the Lord. We may not always agree with other Christians on certain things. I think that's prevalent in a lot of people.
Happens,
work out your own salvation and in fear and trembling. And so I love that verse. So I don't want people to think like this is a Christian bashing podcast. It's not. We're Christians and we love the Lord, but we also love truth, and we love people, and we don't ever want people becoming abusive or pedophiles in the name of Jesus. Like, that's horrible. So, I'm kind of the same way. So as I'm watching this documentary, first off, of course, if you've watched the Duggars, you know they homeschool. Yeah. And so I actually homeschooled my kids for about 5 years, which...
I did it for 2 years.
Okay. So, there are different... I break homeschoolers up into 3 different groups, okay?
Okay.
And this is just my opinion and from what I've seen. So you keep scooching out and out
I'm
of
sorry.
the
I'm
view.
trying to turn so I can see you, but...
Let's talk to each other.
Well, I don't like my profile.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I love mine. Look at this.
Well, you can look at me and I'll look at myself.
Okay. So 3 groups. So there's like normal homeschoolers that I call.
Right.
Because basically these are people who, for one reason or another, were unable to find every need for their child and their education within the public school system or private school system.
Right.
Okay. So that's where we fell. I had a child that was not excelling academically in school, and we had been through all the things, and he just needed more one-on-one attention for a while, and so that's what we provided him. And of course, as soon as I opened up the option to Avery, she was like,
I'm in.
I get to quit school in kindergarten. This is awesome.
Yep.
And I was like, not quite, but you can wear your pajamas. And so she was like, sold. So I homeschooled him for 5 years. So there's people like us.
That is a long time.
It is a long time.
It's a long time.
So just typical people. Then you have like your Duggar homeschoolers who are, I know are part of this like Gothard, kind of thing.
Which is a big chunk of Christian homeschoolers.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot of people. And then there's what they call no schoolers. Have you heard about these?
Unschoolers.
Or unschoolers.
Yes, I have.
So there's no schoolers who think that just living, you're going to learn all the things you need to learn.
Right.
Like you don't need textbooks.
Well, right. Like, Mom, I'm really interested in cats. Okay, well, then that's all you need to learn about is cats.
Yeah,
so
let's count how many cats.
It's child-led education.
I mean, it'd be fine for us because we could be like, well, let's count how many cats we have. And sometimes you have 10.
That'll be like math.
Yeah, sometimes you have 10.
Gosh, yeah.
Sometimes you have 3.
That's right.
Okay, let's take away how many we gave away.
Say, when there's one cat, you would say there is one cat. And then if there's 2 cats, you would say there are two cats. So that's your English lesson.
Right.
I kind of see how unschooling works.
Oh, do not. That's no. So anyway, yeah. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, I get the homeschooling thing. And then when they bring up, and we'll get into this, there's a homeschooling conference that I later find out called ATI, which was created by Bill Gothard. I've been invited to an ATI conference
Have
before.
You?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was strongly encouraged to go to one.
Of course you were.
And I was like...
Michelle Duggar?
Oh, yeah. She was like, go to one.
Yeah.
And no, it was by one of a fellow homeschool family.
Is it... Because there's also, in that first category, or that second category, the ATI one, there's people that are... It's not just that they want that they want their children to grow up in a certain faith-based environment, but they're just actually petrified
Of the outside world.
of the outside world.
Yeah.
They're scared of their children being exposed to anything that is not faith-based.
Yeah.
And that is, I find that to be a really large chunk
Of people.
of homeschoolers, of
Yeah.
Christian homeschoolers. And for us, when we homeschooled, we just wanted to try it. We
Yeah.
were just like, hey, my daughter was in a little private school at the time, a little private Christian school, and it was expensive. And we were like, what if we saved tuition? And so we wanted to try it.
Yeah.
But then she went back to public school and it's fine.
Yeah, my kids went
Yeah.
back to public school too, because I was like, I'm sick of y'all.
Yeah, 5 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it almost destroyed our relationship. I barely like them now. I had to see so
I'm
much
with
of
you.
them. Just kidding. Not really. But also, I was raised Southern Baptist with a preacher daddy. And although he was by no means a Bill Gothard person, like these things that I'm hearing, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
No, they're crazy.
But there were some very, I don't even know how you would say it.
Fundamentalist.
Fundamental,
just
like
embrace
old
it.
school things.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't allowed to wear pants to church. Like
Sure, yeah.
I could wear pants to school or I could wear them at home,
Not to church.
but not to church.
Yeah,
like you don't wear pants in God's house.
That was us.
But I mean, as far as movies and stuff, like I watched Boys in the Hood at 12. I mean,
But your daddy didn't know.
he didn't know.
No,
but
he didn't know.
still, I
Yeah.
mean, but it wasn't like
We
we
were
were
not
so
allowed-
monitored, you know.
We were not allowed at my house. We weren't allowed to watch Solid Gold. This is how you know you're Gen X. If you
Solid
know
Gold.
this, if you know this reference, this is how you know. We weren't allowed to watch Solid Gold because of how skimpy the outfits were
Oh,
on these dancers. And I grew up in a home where my mom believed dancing was a sin, and so it wasn't a situation where we weren't allowed to see anybody dancing or anything like that. We weren't shielded that much.
yeah.
But, she just felt like that was something we didn't need to do because your body movements can whatever. She has changed her mind and evolved in that over the years.
How did she feel when you started cheering?
Well, I went to a little Christian school. We didn't dance there. You had to sign in the student handbook that you, at the beginning of the year, you always had to sign the handbook, and it said, I won't be dancing. Which for me was not a problem because I'm not a dancer. But
Well, I went to public school, okay, because Johnny and Joyce could not afford the private school, and I was a majorette, and we
didn't have a band.
we
didn't have a band.
We wore white knee boots all the way up, okay, and basically a bedazzled bathing suit on the field.
Yeah,
Literally.
That's how it is now.
Yeah, literally. And I was happy to do it,
Yeah.
and still was like, oh,
Yeah.
I knew the Lord still loved me.
Well,
I
yeah.
looked great out there.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, using my talents.
That was not something our school was too small to have a band to begin with.
Oh,
We had a football team, but we didn't have a band. And then we had, a handful of cheerleaders.
right.
So, but anyway, I just had wanted to point out the whole point of this was there are people that are just petrified that their child will learn anything that's not biblically based.
Right.
Like they want their children in a bubble the
So
entire.
let's talk about some of the principles that Bill Gothard teaches. And so if you've watched the Duggars, you know this family of 19 kids, and they all sit in a row. They're never mad. They're always smiling. The mother talks like this.
That's one reason alone I could not do
She's
Bill Gothard.
so gentle and quiet.
That's how I know Cubans don't do Bill Gothard. Because no.
Girl.
No.
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 No, Joyce screamed too much for that.
No,
She would call you out in a minute.
And they didn't want they wanted your clothing, Michelle, we want our clothes. The goal is to draw attention to your countenance. And I can't, my countenance is not always something I want you to see.
Is that why her bangs are so big?
Well, it's,
To draw attention
it's
to
her
her countenance.
They do not want, that's why she wears pilgrim clothes.
What?
Yes, those pilgrim collars that they talked about.
Yes.
Yes, they do not want you looking at their clothes.
No, you don't want to look at this all the time because this gives me away.
Yes, I don't want that. And I don't want to.
Avery? Kids ruin everything.
Kids ruin everything.
They ruin everything. Get out of
We're
here.
live.
No, get out of here.
Sure. Here she comes.
Here she comes.
Y'all have a video?
It's
Yeah,
live
we're
right now.
live.
Don't say anything.
Hey guys, let me fix my hair. What are we talking about?
Okay.
We're talking about the Duggars, and say hey to everybody, and then leave and go downstairs.
Okay, good night.
Okay, bye. All right, that was Avery.
Let's talk about the eye traps that Avery's wearing today.
Avery's basically wearing a sweatshirt and what looks to be
Some
just
underwear.
just a pair of underwear under it.
Sorry, I've been working.
Sorry, she's been working out. So yeah, Avery is just an eye trap,
She's a top to bottom.
top to bottom. And did you see the crimps in that hair? Now that's almost a Duggar hair.
That is pretty close, except it's about 6 inches too
It's
short.
about 6 inches too short, and it's over top of a tan.
Yeah. Also,
which
they
she's got
can't
in the
see
tan
that, so
there.
maybe we shouldn't.
Oh,
They're like,
I'm not going to show you all that anyway.
you look gorgeous.
We love you. Good night. Somebody said she's a doll. She's like her mother.
She is. She is.
So
cute.
anyway,
So what I'm saying is, I don't want. The goal is to look at your countenance, and also they didn't want anybody to stand out.
right?
Which Amaryllis Barnett lives for standing out.
Please,
My shoes alone.
the earrings.
Yes, I
Yes.
can't. Like it would be not. No, I no.
It's not within me. Okay, God created me to shine.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
And He
Bright,
and
sister.
You and I are both in this same category. He created us with such beauty everywhere.
Look at us.
I mean, look at us.
Look at us.
To the point that I feel like it's almost a sin to hide. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's God's creation, after all.
only God could make this. Angelic.
Yeah.
Just, it lights up a room. Now, I'm not saying, hey, go walk around Walmart naked.
I mean, not that she hasn't done that before.
I mean, not that I haven't had my own wardrobe malfunctions there with the leggings, but
What was that episode? What was that episode that was on?
Was that the Rose?
No, that was the girl that made her boyfriend kill himself.
Oh, yeah.
I Love You, Now
I
Die.
Love You Now Die. Yeah.
Yeah, go back and listen to that
Go listen
story.
to that one. Let's just say I'm on a People of Walmart feed somewhere.
Yeah,
Somewhere I'm on there.
the one where Misty has a hole in her butt,
A
not
hole
where
in
you
her
think.
butt, and
Not where you think.
guess what? Sometimes she don't wear when she's got her leggings
Let's
on,
not give it
and
away.
she's going quick.
Let's not give it away.
So anyway, help me remember the name. They had those letters for it. Remember?
The letters.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
the thing that Bill Gothard created, like
Oh, IBLP.
IBLP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Institute for Basic Life Principles.
Yes. That's the program that he created, and really, it's a cult. I mean,
Yeah, so there's
basically.
seminars. Okay, so it's seminars, and they're all run by Bill Gothard. Now, Bill Gothard never married, and he's giving marital advice. And Bill Gothard never had children, and he's giving parenting advice.
expert.
Right, expert. And somehow, and I never have been to, I never went to a Bill Gothard seminar.
I
And
didn't
I
either.
actually had probably never even seen Bill Gothard till I saw this documentary or since some of this Duggar stuff has started coming out. I just knew the name, and I knew a couple of families that were in it. And so I knew the legalism that was pervasive.
Right.
But it was a seminar, and people would sign up. And at some point, Jim Bob, who grew up in a very conservative Christian home, Jim Bob was like, I really believe in these principles. I think this is what needs to be our guiding light. I think there's great wisdom in Bill Gothard. And he asked Michelle, who was a cheerleader, who was dating other people, who was a very beautiful young
Cute.
lady.
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
real cute.
like she screamed, like she didn't talk like this. He was like, hey, I want to take you to one of these seminars.
She had a full voice box.
Yes, she did. And so he took her, and she said, well, this is perfect. This is how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
And so they got married, and that's how they began their lives together. And they knew that, the other thing is it's called the Quiverful movement. I didn't know if you knew that it had a name.
Oh, yes,
The Quiverful
Quiverful.
movement. Yeah. I remember, I told you I grew up Bill Gothard adjacent. I remember talking to this one young man who said to me he had just gotten married, and I think that they were expecting their very first child. And somebody said, well, how many more are you going to have? And he said, however many the Lord gives us.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a quiverful Bill Gothard doctrine. Now, they would say it's biblical. That there's some biblical references, but what happens is they're twisted.
Yeah, I
right?
had a homeschool family once say to me that I needed to pray about my birth control method because it was basically abortion.
Okay.
Okay? This is what we're dealing with.
Hey guys, look, pro tip: don't give people that kind of advice.
How about
Don't give them advice about their bedroom at all.
How about if your baby has to wear a full bonnet and a pilgrim dress to go to bed at night? Keep your opinions to yourself.
That's right.
Okay?
You do you.
I don't want them. I obviously don't. I've got on black eyeliner. I'm going to hell anyway.
That's right. That's a fact.
So there you go.
You're wearing a tank top, Misty. Duh.
Well,
I mean, I can probably find a scripture that says something about those eye traps.
I mean, you probably could.
Eye traps is my favorite thing that I have ever, because the best thing about that part was when they showed what the eye traps were. It was lace, like it was like an actual regular dress, and
Yeah,
it might
like a
have
woman-
lace up here.
Yeah, and they'd be like,
They're-
"Oh, this see-through lace
This is
right
too
here,
much. It's
not
too much.
down into the bosom.
No,
but like just
like
a,
right
a
here.
strip." They'll be like, "Oh, that lace, that's really
It's an eye trap.
drawn away from your countenance."
So they have a son.
And also with the eye traps, the Duggars, and I know a lot of people have these. They had code words.
Oh my gosh!
They had a code word. So like if they're out in public and they're walking down the street, and let's say they saw me, because I'm a walking eye trap.
Yeah.
They saw me, they would scream out,
Nike!
Nike!
Nike.
Now, Amaryllis, my husband loves some Nike, and he loves some Jordans. What does the logo for Nike say? Just
do
do
it.
it. Just do it. I think that's giving intuitive information. I mean, that's not.
They're getting mixed messages.
They're really getting mixed signals
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't know that because they've never turned on a TV in their life.
Oh, that's true.
Or a magazine. They have no idea.
They said if a tornado was coming, somebody better call them.
Bill Gothard was huge into the culture war. Huge into the culture war, which is true of a lot of very conservative Christians, and even in the circles we run in. And it can be a worthy thing to tackle. There are things that we as believers really need to stand up against.
Sure.
But I believe a culture war is a losing battle.
Right.
I mean, the culture moves on with or without Jesus people. It just does. And so what do we do as people of faith? We live our lives the way we know that we should live our lives, right? And we pray for those that don't, and
Lead by example.
and love the people that don't,
Right.
And love them. So, but anyway, that's a whole other.
And also, we know that
Topic.
we're no better than anybody else.
Yes.
Like, our standards and our clothing do not put us above someone else in the eyes of God.
That's exactly right. And they're never going to get us into heaven, right?
No.
You know, I remember watching an episode of the Duggars where, you know, first of all, they didn't wear bathing suits. You know, they wore those modest suits that looked like scuba diving.
gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had to have a skirt. So like they couldn't just wear the
Right.
wetsuit, right? They had to have a skirt
They
around
had to
it
have
because
like a jumper around it.
Yeah. It's so odd.
Yeah.
But anyway,
How about that's a drowning hazard? Right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. How uncomfortable could that? I don't. So anyway, because there are so many modest bathing suits. Anyway.
Right.
I mean, anyway. So I remember watching an episode where they went skiing
Yeah.
in these dresses.
Yeah.
Michelle Duggar got in the water, and she's skiing, so that dress comes up above her knees, like it flies up above her knees. They blacked it out.
Her kneecaps.
Her kneecaps.
Well, those had to have been some sexy kneecaps.
Doubtful. They blurred or blacked out the kneecaps at
kneecap.
their request because they felt that was very immodest. And that's how they made their girls dress, right? They made their girls wear those suits if they were in the water. Everything had to be below a knee. It really angers me because those girls, their salvation was not dependent on whether your knees were seen on television or
Right.
not. It just angers me that they were made to feel such guilt. And then
And that's where everything lied. Like, the way that you present yourself
Oh,
and the things that you
It's
want
all
to do.
external.
It's all external,
Yeah.
and it's make it or break it. Like,
Yeah.
that's salvation issues to them.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say that. I read Ginger Duggars' book. You know, she just wrote a book called Disentangling Faith or something like that. And which, by the way, I can't wait to read Jill's book,
Girl.
because she's going to name names and take no prisoners. and I
Jill's sick
cannot
of
wait.
y'all.
She's
Get it,
freaking
Jill,
amazing.
with your nose ring.
Yes, I like her and her husband so
I do
much.
too.
In any case, Ginger's book was really just more of I grew up in this, and this was my struggle in finding truth and figuring out what was right and what was actually right. And she says something that was helpful to her. It was a pastor, and she cited the pastor. I can't remember who it was. She said, I have to think to myself, these rules that we grew up with, are these God's rules, or are these
Man's rules.
God's rules that we say are God's? You know, did
Right.
we come up with these because we think that's what God might want of
Right.
us? Or is this actually something that's spelled out in Scripture that says, you know,
Or is this
you
the rule
can't
of a man
wear?
who thinks he's God?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. He was elevated to the point of a deity almost, you know, and there was no humility about it at all. It was just, Bill Gothard said it, and that's how we're going to run our family.
And you know what's so surprising is, especially with Jim Bob and Michelle, is Jim Bob was not raised in this. Like, his mom and dad, even though they were conservative Christians, they didn't abide by Bill
Oh, no.
Gothard's rules.
He went to that seminar.
He went as a teenager, and
Yeah.
they converted him into these beliefs.
But you know why? Okay, so this is what's interesting.
Please.
What?
I have to say, can you imagine going on a first date with a guy and him going, hey girl, you're so beautiful, but if you would really just like tease your bangs up and you would put on a Peter Pan collar and you would wear your dress all the way down,
I'm not going to be able to stand
and
it.
if you could speak at a volume that's almost a whisper, man, you'd be sexy.
Not now, though. Not in that cheerleader outfit. Take
not
that
like
off
that.
and put a pilgrim
Put that
dress
on.
on.
Yeah, because I'm not
And some
taking
buckle
you. I'm not
shoes.
taking you any other way. Forget it.
Yeah. A little more curl.
Little
A
curl.
little more curl.
Yeah.
A little more. Maybe use the half-inch wand,
Sure.
not the inch wand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would help.
And don't brush them out.
No,
Leave
don't
them.
brush 'em out.
Leave them.
If we've learned anything from Gwen Shamblin, it's you don't
Don't
brush your
brush
curls
your curl
out.
out.
No,
No, never.
No. But the thing about Jim Bob is this really tells a big story about him, because he was enticed by this. Why? Because it elevated him
Male
as the
dominated.
man.
Yeah.
It elevated him. So where he might have been a total dork. I don't know. I didn't know him back then.
He looked
I do
okay.
know he still had the same haircut.
Yeah. No, I can't say nothing about that. Johnny had that same haircut his whole life too. Something about those men from that era. They loved that swoop to the side.
Look, Jim Bob, no, it's not swoop to the side. It is a full-on helmet.
He had a good part.
He does.
And then a swoop to the side.
Well, I didn't
and
know
then
your
you-
dad, so I don't know.
You spray it.
I picture
into
him with like a
place.
wave.
Oh,
It wasn't that?
No, it was car salesman. Like
Got it.
was real, and he didn't do it. My mother did it. My mother fixed his hair every day. So
Okay. Well, Jim.
Styles by Joyce.
She's closed on Mondays, but
She's closed. Sorry.
So, but what it did is he was like, well, "You mean to tell me that I get to be the boss of this woman, and I get to be the boss of all these kids, and when
Oh.
my girls are married, I still get to be the boss of them because I'm still their parent." You
Right.
know, so that tells me a lot about his own narcissism, and that's a big word, but you know, it's not meant as a diagnosis, but it tells me a lot about him, about where he is as a person and his personality. And after listening to Bobby Nichols and her husband, I can't remember his name, you know, that's the friends that testified against Josh.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
After hearing them, and they were to me very credible.
Yes.
They did not seem to me to have any reason to lie about anything. They did not seem to me to want to have any attention on them. They seem to me like they just want to put this behind them, and they're just glad their girls dodged a bullet.
their daughter
Yeah.
was almost married to Josh
She
Duggar.
was almost Mrs.
She
Josh
was almost
Duggar.
Anna. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
that Anna.
We can't even.
That Anna.
But it was something that was very male dominated, and so that was very drawing to the husbands.
Yeah,
And
it
so
is.
how do you get your wife and kids on board with something like this? Will you say, God said this is what we should do?
Well, Misty, have you not seen the diagram? The
Right,
umbrella?
right?
There's
right.
God, there's husband, and then there's you, the little woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I really looked at, and I was like, wow, this is where I would have been out, is not
There's
only...
so many
There's so
points.
many.
Yeah.
But this one would have really nailed it home for me. But not only are the men encouraged to physically... Now, listen, we're from the South. People spank their kids. I get it. This is not just a pop on the hand or whatever. This is abuse, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are beating these kids.
Oh, yeah.
Hours.
Blanket training.
Blanket training. But not only that, not only are they physically abusing their children to extremes, they're allowed to whoop their wives.
This was brand new to me. I grew up in this, in adjacent, Bill Gothard adjacent, but I do not remember anybody ever saying, now, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but
I'm pretty sure they didn't put it on the front of that booklet,
no, that was not.
the wisdom book, but
That was brand new to me.
but it had to be in there somewhere because these
Yeah.
women were not okay. So this one woman,
She's on TikTok. I don't
She's
know
on
if you've ever seen
TikTok. Basically, she had to sign a contract with her husband that was basically describing how he was allowed to discipline her. That could mean spanking her. That could mean corner time.
I mean,
I wish Rhett Barnett would try to put Amaryllis in a corner. Okay?
no.
And then afterwards, restoration, which means, are we going to do it when you're done?
Are we going to do it?
Once you've got me out of the corner, are we going to do it so everything's fine again? Okay, now let me tell y'all something. I know, if y'all know me, I've got a gentle and quiet spirit about me, okay? That's just...
Somewhere in there.
It's natural. And so I'm not saying, because I'm not physically strong, I'm not
Right.
saying a man couldn't whoop me, okay? He could. But he better get in every lick he ever wanted to get in the first time he whooped my tail, okay? Because afterwards, because I've got a quiet and gentle spirit, I'm not going to fight back. Because guess what? When you can't use this,
I'm out.
you use this, okay? And so I'm going to tuck him into bed at night because we're going to have some restoration, right? We're going to restore this. We're going to restore it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have some restoration.
Sure.
And I might snuggle with him a little bit. And I might tell him, thank you for lovingly
Sure.
correcting me.
Yeah.
That was so great. Thank you for the corner time. And then he's going to get sleepy because I've already put something in his drink, okay? So he's going to get sleepy. And then as he drifts off to sleep, I'm going to gently remove his penis from his body, and I'm going to quietly shove it down his throat. That's what's going to happen when you try to mess with me, okay? Lorena Bobbitt did it right. You don't do that crap.
Team Lorena.
Team Lorena. How about if some of these women would pull one out on y'all quit that mess. I can't do it. I'm telling you.
Life hack.
If I
Misty
went
Gillespie.
to one of those conferences, day one, they'd be like, bye. She about to spoil. She's going to be the apple that spoils the whole bunch.
Oh, yeah. No, we would not fit in.
What would you do if Rhett Barnett said, hey, Amaryllis, the Lord has told me that when you act up, I need to put your nose in the corner.
Oh, I wish he would try that. He's
wish
on
you-
here right now.
I wish you would, Rhett Barnett.
You heard it right there, everyone. Lorena Bobbitt did it right. It's true.
She did.
And don't you forget it, Rhett
And
Barnett.
don't forget it, okay? And the knives up in here are not sharp. Dull.
They're dull as can be.
Dull.
They're butter
I'll
knives.
get a butter knife.
Butter knives.
That's a cat. Oh, sorry. I'm not gentle with them. I have to discipline them,
Yes.
Amaryllis.
Well, they're
okay?
not godly cats.
They're not. So anyway, but yeah, so physical discipline from your husband.
Yeah.
Restoration. And they're pretty much taught that if the children are acting up, it's because there's sin in the mother's life. okay? And that trickles down to the children, right? Isn't that correct?
Oh, yes.
And so it's all about
It's such a misconstruction.
blaming the woman for not doing what she needs to get done.
Oh, no, it's never the fault of the husband. He's a leader.
He's the provider.
So let's get back to the Duggars in particular. So they get married. They start having these children. Somewhere along the time, Josh is about 13, and they've got a number of girls already. It comes to their attention that Josh has tried to do some things with the girls. Why do you think that he would do that? Do you think that Josh was inside him, he was a sexual deviant? Or do you think that his repression from how he was being raised caused this? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would he have done it anyway? First of all...
Well, I mean, it's basically what the girl in the documentary said. If you're told your whole life, don't look at your sister's boobs, don't look at your sister's boobs,
That's
don't
right.
look at your sister's boobs. First off, why would he even be thinking that?
That's right.
But secondly, all he's going to think is, why don't they want me to touch my sister's boobs? Like, it...
Well, also, they weren't even, allowed to... and on the one hand, it makes perfect sense. Like, the boys aren't allowed to help with their baby sisters. Baby sisters, okay? Babies. Because they did not want them to see what those parts looked like. Because they didn't want them to know what the other sex looked like. Because that would make it sexual.
Right.
And... so you think about, Josh was taught sex is bad, sex is bad. We've talked about this when we did courtship, which is not posted because it's kind of mean. We should post it again.
We should post it again.
We'll post it again.
Yeah.
We will. We watched some of it again today. And they talked about, they were very ATI people. If those people are not IBLP people, I don't know who is.
Yeah.
If you've never watched a courtship, it's on Prime. I'm sorry, it's actually streaming on YouTube now. It's on not Prime anymore. In any case, he said, girls are meant to be wives and mothers, and they should not go to school.
That's
and we've met girls that are not wives and mothers, and they're just not fulfilled at all, and they're just floundering in life, and they really, really need a man.
Yeah.
And he said, my daughters, they're going to live with me as long as they want to until they get married, and because they're certainly not going to school, but we're training them to be wives only. And beyond that, we're training them to be wives, but they cannot have any sort of sexual urges at all until they get married.
Right.
And so this is what these kids are growing up with, and the shame of, so Josh is growing up and he's looking around, and the only girls he's exposed to are his sisters.
Right.
Because everything that they do is gender specific. Like they don't do things together, right? It's always the girls and the boys. And if you're with people that are not your family, it's the girls and the boys,
Right.
because
They're
you
always
cannot
separated.
risk anybody looking at another person of the other gender.
No,
You can't risk that. You can't risk
There's
it.
no such thing as self-control.
So Josh is 13 years old, and he's like, my body's changing. I've got all these feelings. My hormones are raging. What am I supposed to do with this? I can't talk to my parents about it. They've already told me this is sinful that I feel this way. It's not natural that I feel this way.
Right.
So where does he go? So it's, in my view, it's a direct fault. It's a direct responsibility of Bill Gothard, the way this young man ended up. And I'm not saying that I feel sorry for him, because God knows I don't. He
Right.
did some horrible, horrible, unspeakable things. But he is a product of parenting. I don't think he's a product of just, he would have done that anyway.
Anyway, I think it's one of the worst things you can do for your child, to shelter them so much that once they're out in the real world or somewhere not within your vision, that they are unable to have self-control, because you've taught them that you're so gross and you're so messed up inside as a human, which, yes, we all have sin, we all have things in our lives that we struggle with, but that unless you're listening to me, your father, and someone's watching you all the time, you can't control yourself. Now, you can if you're a woman, but if you're a man, the man's eyes don't work the way a woman's eyes work.
I mean,
and so Men can't control themselves. Like this shoulder blows somebody's mind.
Whoever the men are on this broadcast
Yeah.
are about to die.
I'm sorry.
They can't handle it.
Yeah. How about if my shoulder causes your man to stumble? He was not yours to begin with. Okay.
You're in bad
and y'all got
shape.
bigger problems
Yeah.
than
yeah.
this shoulder.
All right, so he goes through this, and then we really start seeing Jim Bob, what a horrible person he really is. Because when the Duggars first come out, Christians are like, oh my gosh.
I was a Duggar fan. I mean,
Well,
not because it was anything that I would do myself, but I was just like,
Well, you felt like you were seeing yourself represented, not in that how they live, but that they're Christians and that they're sweet and that they have a successful family. And so you feel like, as a Christian, you have somebody that's representing you, and you felt like they were representing you well until you really look deeper and you realize this is not how I want to be represented.
Amaryllis, I made that tater tot casserole a lot of times.
I made it with beef. I made it with turkey. I made it with ground chicken.
I made that taco soup.
Oh, tacos.
I made so many things.
Is it good? Was that tater tot casserole good?
I don't want to say it is because of where I got the recipe, but I mean, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's whatever.
That sounds so gross to me. I can't even tell you.
My family was disgusted.
Yeah.
I thought it was delicious,
I
but
think-
my family did not like it.
I think it sounds gross.
But, not only that, I was like, oh, like this is something you can watch and like, it doesn't matter if your kids walk in, like whatever. But then behind the scenes, when you look at these kids and they're all so sweet and they're all so good and they're all following directions. Like I would watch the Duggars and I'd be like, why can't y'all do this?
I know.
Like, just sit still. And then we got Michelle over here explaining blanket time, which basically blanket time is taking a infant, okay, putting them on a blanket, getting a toy that they like, putting it out of reach of them, and every time they try to get it, you smack
Spank them.
Okay? We did blanket time the exact opposite. We used blanket time to teach kids how to crawl. We put stuff out in front of them and said, go get it.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's how different we are. But then you look back, I was thinking today, I was like, I have to look at some of these old episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And
for
so,
sure.
like, if you go on YouTube, you can find some clips and stuff. And because it's been taken off.
They've wiped it.
They've
Yeah.
wiped everything. But you can go back and you can look, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, those kids look sad.
Well, yes, because they had just gotten some encouragement.
They've gotten some encouragement, and they just had to do 24 loads of laundry and take care of,
Just Jessa.
and let 3
Just
kids
Jessa.
sleep in the bed with them.
That's the other thing. They were Misty.
I can't.
When she said when a baby is born, because that's a regular thing that happens in their family.
Yeah.
I mean, they did have 20 children, right? 20 or is it 19?
They lost several.
They
I'm
lost
not
that last
sure.
one.
Yeah.
In any case, it was a regular occurrence that they would have. She says, whenever we have a baby, that baby is my buddy.
That's my buddy.
That's my buddy until they're weaned,
Then,
which is just a few months. Just a few months. And then it becomes whose ever turn it is.
oh,
So now you've got a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old raising
3 or 4 kids.
her sibling. Because the boys sure as heck weren't doing
Oh
it.
no, the boys weren't buddies.
Oh,
Did
no.
you notice?
Oh, yes.
A boy is never a buddy.
No, it's the girls.
It's
girls.
always the girls.
Absolutely. It was
Yeah.
the girls. So these young ladies, I think it makes me so angry. I think back to my own parents. My dad would, even when I was a child, he would ask, are you enjoying your childhood? I mean, he just he would ask me that. He would say, you're having a beautiful childhood, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because they took us places and they make us have experiences and didn't make us do things that children aren't supposed to do. And I look at these girls and they've been raising children since they were 10, 11 years old.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have guilt over, my kids having to sit at speech therapy appointments for
Right,
hours and
right.
stuff and that's because our
Right.
kid physically couldn't speak, but I didn't want them to feel like that, one child was more important than them, or so
Sure.
we really made an effort to do things with them outside, just with them, so that they would feel special and they would feel like they mattered.
You can't do that with 20 kids.
You can't
19
do that
kids.
with 20 kids. And like, how about, again, I would never last, because Michelle would walk into me and be like, hey, so your daddy and I have created another life, and we're going to need you to raise it. And I'd be like, I'm out. I'm running away.
Well, no, they don't do that. They've been trained to stay home.
Right.
They've been trained to stay home until, and it's like they don't, at least up until the last couple of years, when some of those older girls have kind of gone out on their own and worn pants, gotten their noses pierced, and only had 2 children.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they you look at Ginger Duggar and Jill Duggar, and they're like, life is, for us, is very different than what we were taught.
Right.
They have really, disentangle is a really great word. They have really disentangled from fear, a fear-based faith, and a legalistic-based faith, to a joy-filled faith. And so it's really, really nice to see. But where you see, going back to where kind of things took a turn, we see how Jim Bob kind of, his true colors start coming out over the years. They start this ministry, which is their show. They're become very well known, very famous. They're on Oprah. They're on the Today Show. They're on everywhere, and everywhere they go, people know who they are.
Right.
And all of that, and the stuff with Josh had started beforehand, before all this stuff. And you see where they offer up their girls as the sacrificial lambs to keep this going. So what do you think? What is this cat's name?
Oh my gosh, which one is it? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I think that's Boo. Or is that? Oh no, that's a big girl. That's a big kitten right there.
Okay.
Yeah, get out of here.
All right. So anyway,
but
you just start seeing how his true colors have come out, and he's not a good man. This man, no matter what he says, is not a man of God.
Now, so explain to them about what Josh's charges were and what they ended up doing.
All right. So the very short of it is, in 2015, it came out that he had confessed to touching his sisters inappropriately, and a babysitter, and this Nichols family that we just talked about convinced them to go to the police, and they went to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff said, well, don't do it again, and I'm going to let you go. And turns out that sheriff was also a child molester and is serving 50-something years in prison now. So they brought him home, and he did it again. He did it again to his sisters. And they said, well, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to send you to a Bill Gothard labor camp. And that sounds a lot worse than it actually is. Labor camp makes you sound like it's a huge punishment. He basically went to a Bill Gothard facility where they helped do some construction. And right before he was to be done with that, Jim Bob said, oh, we got to bring him home because we have a photo shoot.
It's basically like he went on a mission trip.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so they brought him home, and they said, well, we put some safeguards in place. We did not let the boys go in the girls' room from then on. That took care of it. So all of this had happened years before, but it came out in 2015. And in 2015, that's when TLC said, okay, we're canceling the Duggars, and we only want to concentrate on these older girls that have left the home. And that's when Jim Bob tricked his children into signing contracts, did not pay them. He just was like, we're going to keep this juggernaut going.
Yeah.
Well, so then Josh gets off scot-free.
Yeah.
But the girls had to be offered up as sacrificial lambs because they went on basically a media tour.
Well, and he got off.
We love Josh. This was not a problem. We didn't even know it happened. And
well, and statute of limitations.
Right, yes, exactly.
And he was a child.
That's right. He didn't mean it. He's not a pedophile.
It's fine.
He gets married.
He's never going to do this again.
He gets married. His wife is expecting his 7th child. He gets embroiled in the Ashley Madison controversy. He gets accused by a very credible woman, I thought, of having sex with her, a porn star. And meanwhile, his wife is pregnant. The big thing is he gets arrested because they found child pornography on his computer. And his computer had a program called Covenant Eyes on it, which keeps a computer from, like,
You
it
can't
reports,
access
right, you
certain
can't
things.
access certain websites.
And it reports if
And
you
it
do it to
reports
somebody.
it. And so they had done that because he'd had a history of some stuff. But he was also very tech savvy, and he had split that hard drive. And so the hard drive where he would not search for these things was fine. But then there was that secondary one that split, and that's where they found horrific, unspeakable things. And so now Josh is in jail for the next 12 years.
And by this time, Anna's had how many children?
She's pregnant with her 7th child, and she is still married to him. But she grew up in this whole thing, and to her, divorce is the worst possible thing.
Well, they confessed to her parents before she even married him
They
that
sent
he
her.
had done this.
Yeah.
And her parents said,
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's fine. Like,
I'm sure it's fine.
We want her to marry Josh because this is such a good family and this is such a great opportunity.
That's
and
right.
We're all living in Florida over here, and we want to get her somewhere good.
That's right. Also, can she be on TV?
Oh, well then, yeah, she can marry.
Done and done.
Yeah.
Done and done.
And this baby, I mean, you
She's
think
clueless.
You think Michelle Duggar is like clueless? Poor Anna.
She is sad.
Y'all, she breaks my heart. Like, if you ever watched, if you watch the first episode of Counting On, because that is still available, she talks a little bit about it, and they teach these women and these children that they're always to smile, no matter what they're talking about.
Your countenance is very
Your
important.
countenance is very important, and so you can tell she is broken. She is devastated inside, and she's smiling and saying, "But I love Josh, and we're gonna try to restore our marriage." And I even saw where he applied for conjugal visits with her while he's in prison.
She's probably down for that.
Oh, she's not allowed to say no.
No.
She's not allowed to leave him. And
Yeah.
so where do they take Anna? Now these people, this really made me angry. Now, these people, Jim Bob has all the money because kids are never paid. At some point he said, "How about $10 an hour?" When Jill and Derek start questioning him, he's
$10?
like,
Is that
"How about
enough?"
$10 an hour?" And so at some point he knew, like, I'm probably going to get in trouble for forging these kids' signatures. He paid them a lump sum that they said about amounted to minimum wage.
Yeah.
Okay, but now he's got bukus of money, and instead of saying, "Hey, Anna,"
TLC paid for their house.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
see that?
yeah, but
Paid for their
but
house.
instead of
Like
saying,
they said, we want to see this house finished. Here's $300,000 to
finish her
complete
up.
your house.
Yeah. And so instead of saying, "You know what, Anna, our son has done this and we are so heartbroken and we want to help you with your family and you deserve better and we'll help you get a house and to move on with your life and we're here to support you. Like, you don't have to stay in a marriage with a man who would do that, and you need to be protective of your children and not allow him back into your home." They just move her into the girls' room.
Can I tell you, I like to think that if that happened to me, I would be like, I'm out.
Bye.
I'm out. But the truth is that's not, first of all, it's not everybody's personality.
God have a book
It's
deal.
not how everybody, like if it had happened to me in my family, my parents would have said, "You can come live with us right now.
Oh, yeah.
What can we give you? What can we do to support you and these children? Because this is unbelievable that this is happening to
No,
you."
you do that to me,
So-
I'm telling on you. I'm writing a book,
That's absolutely right.
and I'm getting paid.
That's right. But here's the deal. She doesn't know that she can do that. Like, she doesn't know that that's an option. So while it's really, really easy to say, "I'm out," you do not, I would never stay married to a child molester. But in her mind, first of all, it's a salvific issue.
Wow, that was a great word.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's private school. Wow.
In her mind, that knocks me out of heaven if I get
Right,
divorced.
right.
That because that takes me out from under that umbrella.
I got nothing.
I can't take care of myself.
I'm getting rained on.
She had a homeschool education. I'd like to see her score on an ACT.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She had a homeschool education. Not only was it a homeschool education, it was an ATI homeschool education.
Yeah, so we're
it
not
was not
saying-
academically strong.
Yeah, we're not saying that all
Oh.
homeschool people don't. Some of the smartest people I know,
Unbelievably incredible. Yeah.
unbelievable ACT scores are homeschooled.
Yeah.
Like amazing.
Well, not
But
even that.
this-
They're like very like they'll take on. Yeah.
engaged and but like this particular curriculum was meant to not
It's
educate,
not academic, right?
At
It was
all.
not academic.
like write 75 Bible verses and do one math problem,
That's right.
and then you're done for the day.
That's right. So she has no education, right? Her homeschool was not an actual, hey, let's build you up and get you ready for the world. It was, let's build you up and get you ready for your husband.
Her sister Priscilla has a traumatic brain injury, and they have married her off to a man.
That's right.
And she's popping kids out.
That's right.
Traumatic
right.
brain injury.
That's right.
So she doesn't even probably have the functioning to look at things and go, oh, this isn't right. This isn't right, or this is
Yeah.
dangerous, or to work out those things.
So she has no education. She has no prospects for getting a job. She has 7 children. 7 children. Jim Bob didn't give her a dime of that money. So she doesn't, it's not like she's got bukus of she has a savings account with,
No.
7 figures in it.
And I'm sure whatever bank account
Yes.
she does have just has her husband's
And I'll tell
name
you,
on
like
it.
I had a dear friend whose husband was cheating on her, and she wanted her marriage to survive. She realized that it wasn't, and she said, "But I didn't go to college." She said, "I don't have an education. I've just stayed at home with my children my whole life. If I go, how am I going to make this work?" And it kept her in that marriage because, I remember telling her, you can't stay. I mean, this is you're going through abuse. You can't. That is not a covenant marriage.
Right.
If you're worried about the covenant's been broken, sister.
Right.
You got to get yourself
you get
safe.
to choose.
Yeah. So Anna is not understanding is the covenant is broken,
Right.
and she didn't break it, but because it's broken, she can go.
And that's not to say that there aren't marriages where there's been infidelity, that
Sure.
people can't have restoration, and people
Not at all. This is not that.
can't turn back from that. That's not what this is.
No.
This isn't a mistake.
No.
This isn't.
This is a pedophile.
I've broken my marriage vows, and
Yeah.
I need to come clean, and we need to figure out how to fix this.
Yep.
This is pedophilia.
Some of the worst things that have ever been seen by these investigators. Yeah.
Like stuff they couldn't even describe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I won't be able to sleep tonight if I think about it too long.
No, it's she makes me she I think is one of the biggest victims in all of this, and those babies who
Yeah.
won't know their dad. I mean, they'll be 12 years older by the time he gets out. So
Yeah.
anyway, in the end, there's so many freaking things to talk
There's
about.
so
we
much.
could go through the whole Bill Gothard thing, or we can keep going with the Duggars, or really we could just spend an entire 3 hours talking about their hair and their clothes
So much.
and their
So-
recipes.
So much.
They wrote books.
And those
they're
devil
like-
sticks.
The devil sticks. I don't remember what they are.
Tampons.
Hey, ladies, let's have a conversation.
So there's some, name that thing again.
A tampon.
No, I know what a tampon is. I'm talking about the BBLP. What is it?
IBLP.
Okay, the IBLP. So during the documentary series, there are some ex-IBLP members, survivors that
One
have,
of them is from Jasper, Walker County.
And-
one is from Walker County.
and a girl that I know and think very highly of is sweet, precious girl that we actually had her at youth group functions and things. She actually was raised in the same
Oh,
church
really?
with this boy from Jasper.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So she's like, girl, I know all about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, you've made me have. Oh, so they're talking about like things that were awful in their life that they've had to survive and all this. Well, one of the things she said was that she had gone to a
They have facilities, and
Yeah.
and they go up to work at these facilities. That
Right.
family that I knew, they would send their kids up to these facilities.
Yeah.
And they would have like once a week they would go to the grocery store to grab something that they needed. Well, this girl needed feminine hygiene products, and so
Right.
she grabbed herself a box of tampons.
Mhm.
And when she brought it back, they said, "You're in trouble
Uh-huh.
because you've just taken your own virginity."
Congratulations.
Because that's how that works. And
Bye-bye, Hyman.
you did not give your husband the privilege of doing what that tampon did.
Also, maybe you fell in a bicycle seat. Who knows?
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
Or too much gymnastics.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that'll do
How
it.
many things were you told would break your hymen?
Not one thing. It's not a conversation we ever had, but apparently you had it. So.
I actually did hear a little bit about it.
What is my husband just said something?
Let's just say I was not encouraged to use a tampon.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I wasn't prevented, but I wasn't encouraged.
Yeah.
Just because certain things
Sure.
can lead.
So, right.
And hey, P.S. A bunch of y'all, even if you haven't had sex before marriage, a bunch of y'all ain't still got your hymen. Okay?
Just FYI.
It's a very thin piece of skin and can be torn in a lot of ways.
Thanks, Dr. Misty.
You're welcome.
All right. Anyway, that my daughter had just actually logged in, so that's a lesson for her.
Hey, girl.
So,
But
thanks.
anyway, but now that taking your own virginity,
That's new level.
They
That is
told her,
next level.
You received pleasure from this, ladies. Let's
let's
be
have a
real
talk.
right
Yeah.
now, okay? I've used every type and every size of tampon that there is.
That's right.
And
Not once.
not once have I thought, buddy, I
No,
can't wait
I
to get back to the bathroom.
cannot wait.
I cannot. I wish this thing would fill up now.
What brand is this?
What is this? Playtex?
What-
Yes, you did Playtex. Oh, Kotex? Are you my next lover? No. It's not fun. It's gross.
Yeah.
And how about because you're a man, you don't know?
That's right.
So don't tell me what I can use for my period,
Yeah.
okay?
That's right.
Bleed
There
out
we
your
go.
butthole for about a month and see what you do. How about you don't want to put a napkin in there sometimes? I don't like that. I was majorette. Imagine prancing around on the field with an overnight. No, you can't do it. Oh, hey, girlfriend, you don't get to swim a week every month of the summer.
That's right.
That's not fair.
That's right.
That's not okay.
So anyway, this conversation took a turn.
I'm passionate about tampons. I love them. And so that makes me mad.
Team tampon.
Team tampon.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
I'm sorry if you've ever gotten that disease on the back of it.
Toxic
Toxic shock
shock.
syndrome. How many horror stories did you hear about that as a teenager?
That's why you can't use them.
In
yeah.
every school, some girl has died from toxic
Every
shock
school.
syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Oh,
really,
for sure.
I don't really believe that, but you know, you all hear,
They
you hear
did.
the stories. So
That's just how messed up that whole
yeah.
thing was.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Like, we could keep talking about this forever and
Okay,
ever. What
long-
is the end? What's the
Here's
resolution
the end.
here?
Long story short, Bill Gothard ends up being a pedophile himself who
Oh, yes.
sexually preys on the girls that come to the center and who work for him. He ends up getting found out, and so he didn't get put in jail, but they basically said, listen, Bill, you're a bad look for us, and we want to keep this train rolling. So we're going to set you up in your $1 million house and let you just retire.
With your helipad.
With your helipad. We're going to let you retire, and we're going to rebrand this stuff as like a Bible study.
Yeah.
And that'll be fine. And nobody will say boo about it. And so that's what they did.
That's what it is right now.
That's what it is right now.
So if you want some wisdom books,
Go get you a wisdom
go
book.
get your wisdom book.
Yeah.
ATI.
You're going to feel like a tramp real quick. I'll tell you that.
That is a fact.
There's a lot of rules. There's a 6-inch rule.
My school had a 6-inch rule because I told you we were very Bill Gothardy in terms of like conservatism. Like the boys had to have their hair cut really short. The girls could not have their skirts. I think it was either 1 or 2 inches above the knee. It's probably 1 inch above the knee. And there was a 6-inch rule. Typically in chapel, the boys would sit on one side and the girls would sit on the other side because we had chapel every Wednesday, and then we had Bible class every day, fourth period, and
She still remembers the period.
absolutely fourth period every single day. and there was a 6-inch rule. You could not be closer to a boy than 6 inches.
Can I tell you that when I heard that 6-inch rule, the only thing I could think of
Don't
is
say it.
That's what she said.
Don't say it. I knew you were.
And all I wanted to say was, what if it's bigger than 6 inches?
Stop it. Oh my gosh, I cannot. This is where I would consider cutting some things out.
Just cut it out. It's fine. I've watched too many episodes of The Office. That's
Yeah.
why I shouldn't have a TV.
That's right. You shouldn't have a
Or
TV.
radio. Or
Hey,
anything.
listen, what do you think about that time they had a bonfire for all the things that were not pleasing to God in their house?
Well,
Let's do that. Let's look around.
Well, now let me tell you what I will have a bonfire for, and that's a Ouija board. I'm scared of those
Well, that's
things.
that's a different animal.
Those are basically devils,
That's a different
but
animal.
it's fun.
Yep.
Yeah, a bonfire to burn up the Disney movies.
To burn up the Disney movies.
Let me try to get rid of some.
Little Mermaid.
You know what they need, Amaryllis? They need Eli. And I wish they would go to Eli and say, hey, bud, we're going to take that iPad.
You know what? They would look at Eli and they would say, "What kind of sin is in your life, Misty?"
Yeah, that you
Yeah.
can't talk.
That's right.
What did you do?
All you have to do is pray the autism away.
Yeah. But now, in the Bible, it says that when they went to the parents of the deaf child and they said, "Hey, who sinned? You or his mother?" The
That's
the
harsh, man.
disciples went to these parents and said, "Who sinned? You
Yeah,
or your
whose fault
mother?
is this?"
That this child can't speak?" And you know what Jesus said?
What is it?
None have sinned, but this has happened so that the glory of the Lord can be shown in his life.
Stop preaching, Misty. That
Don't
you're a
make
woman.
me.
You're
Do
a
not
woman.
make
You
me pull
can't.
it
You're a
out.
woman.
Because that ain't right, okay? That is not right. Do not be blaming people's difficulties or disabilities
Yeah.
on some sin that they have in their life.
Yeah.
That is wrong. Sorry.
There's a certain Sunday school teacher that I know of that has done that.
No, he better not teach me.
Nope, it's not he.
No, they better not teach me.
Yeah, it's a problem.
How about
But
email me directly? That's fine.
all right, we want to take some questions.
Yes.
Let's do that. Hey, everybody.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We can't go back and read everything.
Let's look through. Oh, don't go so fast.
Well, no, I was going to try because this was back at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So let me come back up to the very bottom and see,
Okay.
and see if there's any. Rhett is there.
Brent said, should I even be here? Probably not.
All right. No, all of a sudden, nobody wants to talk.
Brett said, what would Jim Bob think about you women being out so late? Not good. How about I got to drive her home by myself?
Hey, are you at home, Rhett? Because if you're at home, you can come get me. Because Catalina, who was watching,
Hey, Catalina.
lost the car keys. Hey, you know what we need to do?
Oh, Judy. Judy, that's a good one.
That is a good point, Judy.
Mhm.
Hey, we're not. This is what we need to do really fast.
What?
Is let's close out our regular recording and then we'll stay on and answer these questions if anybody has any. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So,
And then we can put the Q&A on.
well, no, we can. Okay, we'll stay on.
We can add.
We'll stay on.
Yeah.
All right, but nobody wants to talk to us anymore. Everybody's just
Well,
hanging
they've
out.
already put all their stuff up here. Makes me think about The Handmaid's Tale.
Do you know I've never watched
You've
or
never-
read it? I've never read it
I've
or
never
watched
read it, but I've watched it. Bethany, yes, talking about them devil sticks.
Mhm.
It does. They said it takes their virginity. I just reported this video for eye traps. Rhett.
I mean, I didn't know that was possible, but
Ah,
Nike.
Nike. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Y'all give us some questions here. Baptists aren't allowed to have.
Because it might lead to dancing. I've always said that, Dwight.
That's right, Dwight.
I've always said that.
Yeah, a lot of moving and grooving. Darcy was on the dance team and the band. Well, you're going to hell. So let's see what else.
We figured.
Brett Barnett said Baptists don't have sex standing up because that looks too much like dancing.
Anyway, all right. I would watch Handmaid's Tale, Darcy, but I just don't like Elizabeth Moss at all.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I could stand watching an entire series
She's a
starring
pretty woman.
Elizabeth Moss.
She's a pretty woman, but she always looks like something smells bad.
Okay.
All right. So
you know, she's a hardcore Scientologist.
is she really?
Yes, mega Scientologist. But I just don't like her. I used to watch her she was on The West Wing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever watched West
No, I
Wing.
don't care.
Okay. So I loved, you would like West Wing. Anyway, I loved West Wing. She was on there. She played the president's daughter. But,
I don't like
but anyway,
politics.
I just didn't. I didn't like her.
All right, so our 19 list, y'all, I love you. Thank you for staying on. Do y'all have anything you want to share, or if you have any questions, just let us know, and we'll hang on for just a little bit. If
Hey,
you want to tell us how great you love this episode, go ahead.
Alyssa, Alyssa, you've not watched it yet? Like, you just started watching it? You've not seen the whole thing yet? All right. I wonder what Jana thinks of all this. You know what? Hey, Bethany, you know
Jana.
what I saw? I saw a picture of Jana with Ginger. With Ginger, she was wearing shorts and a sleeveless shirt.
I saw one where she had blue jeans on. I think she has been like, bump y'all. I'm tired of watching these kids.
I think she might be, because she's like 30-something, right? She's in
Yeah.
her 30s.
Oh, well, they said that she's done for then, if she's 30.
Okay, Jay, I watched all the episodes of the Duggar Doc just to be prepared for when y'all did the review. What Duggar book did you say I had? I read Ginger's book. She read, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Disentangling Your Faith, or I can't, it's whatever. It's just out that belonged to her. And it's her just saying, hey, I grew up in a cult, and I'm not here to slam my parents. I'm not here to slam anybody. I'm just here to tell you that Bill Gothard was not preaching gospel truth. He was preaching the gospel of Bill Gothard.
Melissa, thank you. I love this cup. This is my Stanley cup. Melissa said she's got this cup and she loves it.
Dwight, listen, you should watch it. It's really maddening. Like, it's
Dwight, I raved. My husband doesn't care about anything I
Me
do
too, Alyssa.
or watch, okay? And I ran into him and I hugged him real hard when he got home and I said, I love you. And he said, what's happening? And I said, because you don't try to control me and you don't try to abuse me and you don't try to use God as a tool to mistreat me.
And also, I wouldn't let you.
Also, I told you about those butter knives in there.
That's right.
But I was like, please watch it so I can talk to you about it. And he said, no, thanks.
We're gonna. Hey, Judy, we'll come right back to Natalia Grace. We'll come back. We'll come right back to it, because yes, it's crazy. Yes, Alyssa, I cannot wait to read Jill's book. That one, because I think she is going to spill some secrets.
She about to tell on y'all.
And Lisette said she saw Michelle wearing leggings, but she was wearing them over. She was wearing them over a skirt, I think, or under a skirt.
Did
No.
you see what Jay just said?
That's the longest dishwasher cycle
I
ever.
tried to tell her, Jay.
Jay, shut your mouth.
She will not listen. She's like, nobody can hear it. Yes, y'all can. Well, my battery's about to die.
We're good. We'll
We
swap
got
over.
20%. Okay.
Yeah.
And I look like Beetlejuice under here. Sorry for that eye trap. I'm pulling a lot of attention to my nether regions. All right.
Yes, becoming free indeed, and then like the subtitle is disentangling faith or something like that.
Right.
Okay, Jay, for real, can you hear that?
Jay, I tried. She don't listen to me.
I didn't think you could hear it.
It is so long. That dishwasher cycle is for about 2 hours. And sometimes, this is ugly, don't tell Philip I do this, but he goes to bed before me because he's an adult and he gets up and goes to his work.
Yeah.
But I like
Not
I like to lay in here and watch documentaries by myself.
That's right.
And sometimes I'll just go open the dishwasher and not even let it finish its cycle because I can't hear my TV good.
My parents took me to an institute in basic youth conflict. Well, what
Oh,
kind of stuff
what
were you
kind of
into, Krista?
Good job, Krista.
Good grief.
What were you doing?
She's the type. Do you know Krista?
Did you wear a choker? Man, Krista.
Did you not, were you not wearing a pilgrim collar all the time?
Do you wear tanks?
I bet she wears tampons.
You should have hid them Kotex. That's what did it. That's what did it, Amaryllis. Those devil sticks.
Rebel kid.
Rebel
well,
kid.
then you deserved it.
Yeah, that's what you get.
I mean,
Thanks for poking holes in everybody's umbrella. How about that? That's not okay, Krista.
well, now she's under Dwight's umbrella.
Oh, she said, said, I found the pic. It's a denim skirt with black pants. She's gone wild.
But her hair's still big, right? Her hair is still
I don't know, but she's doing man things like building closets. They're not going to like that.
Well, no, she's talking about Michelle Duggar.
Michelle? No, I thought she was talking about,
No, Lisette, are you talking about Michelle?
I thought she was talking about Jana. And hey, what are they going to do when Jana surpasses childbearing years and she
don't have any
and she's
babies?
no longer able to get to heaven because she hasn't had any blessings?
Oh, that's right. Who's going to take care of Jana? Her 4,000 siblings?
I don't know. She's going to be somebody's buddy.
The Holtz are... Wait, what?
What?
The Holtz are separated?
And they have... What did that say?
Why is that not staying up? Like, I want it to not go away.
They have... Wait. The Holtz are separated and a 10-year restraining order is against Jim.
Wow.
Jim Holt?
Jim Holt or Jim Bob? We need to know.
Yeah,
Gina, you cannot drop
Gina!
something like this and then not tell us.
The documentary Are You Doing Next? My sisters and I always text each other.
Jewel.
Oh,
you're
Jewel,
so
every
nice.
6 weeks.
You know
I
what?
love you.
Jewel's our new favorite.
We love you, Jewel.
She's talking about Michelle wearing
Oh.
pants. You need to send me that picture.
She can do it if it's under a skirt. It's fine.
Well, she said it was a denim.
Skirt with black pants underneath it. Yeah, even if you wear a skirt, you've got to wear a pantaloon.
Oh, I thought she said shirt.
Or a legging.
A denim shirt with black pants.
Oh, shirt. Oh.
Jim
Holt!
What did he do, Gina?
Gina?
Gina, you cannot. Look, Gina.
Gina, with your one words, tell us what's happening.
Okay, Gina, here's what I need for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
I need for Gina to say, I want to join this conversation. How do we get that? We can't look because we're on the phone.
Oh, man.
That's it.
And my other phone's recording.
Both he and the son, both she and the son are protected from him.
So he was being abusive, or she's alleging that he's been abusive?
What in the world? Okay, Gina, is there a way for you to join us?
What was his wife's name?
Bobby.
Well, that's why it is, because she's got a boy's name.
Bobbye.
Yeah.
Everybody knows if you add an E to the name, it becomes girl's name.
Oh, it's a girl's name now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cody, Codey. That's
Mhm.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avery, Avri, is a girl
Mm-hmm.
and a boy.
Nope.
Actually, it's just not spelled correctly.
No,
but that's how I spelled
Lisette's
it.
daughter is Avery, Avery.
Well, that's too correct for me. I had to go Avri, but and people say Aubrey.
Aubrey.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got a link and everything.
Oh.
Well, I can't look at it right now.
Oh my
Judy
goodness. Judy.
read it.
All right, y'all.
Oh.
Well, y'all look that up because that's upsetting.
Yep.
See, you just don't know.
That is upsetting, and
you
I
never
liked
know
him.
anybody.
I liked him.
I'm gonna quit liking anybody.
Okay. All right. What else are we? We've been talking a long time,
We've been talking a long time.
and you guys have hung
Y'all
in there
hung
with us.
So what are we doing next?
Well, we were supposed to do Anna Nicole.
Yeah, we've been requested to do Pretty Baby.
Yep. I haven't watched that one yet. Have you?
I have.
Have you? Is
It's
it good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm down to do Pretty Baby.
If it's a doc, I've watched it.
Yes, you have.
I have.
You have.
I had to turn my dishwasher off to finish it, so I couldn't hear it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm down to do Pretty Baby.
Yeah,
I don't think
Pretty
there's-
Baby's a good one.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. This is super fun.
This was fun.
Super duper fun.
Do we look professional?
Ish.
Ish.
Yeah. You guys, thank you so much, and we can't believe that anybody listens to 5 minutes of anything that we talk about.
You have spent 3 years with us.
3 years. I don't
It's
get
really, and you and I, it's really like a marriage.
it. It is like a marriage.
is.
It is.
Like, and I mean, I have to
and
put
sometimes
her,
we take 6-week breaks from each other.
yeah, and sometimes I put her in the corner.
That's right.
It
Sometimes
just
she has to hit
depends.
me.
That's right. Sometimes.
I deserve it.
I mean, if you keep reaching for that blanket, I'm gonna smack your hand.
I
Thanks a
deserve
lot.
it. All right. Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. Oh, look at all the sweet hearts. Thank you. What is this? What is that? What is send stars? What does that mean?
Oh, you probably have to pay for that.
I'm up to hundreds and hundreds of listeners, Jewel. Yes. we started out with 10s and 10s 3 years ago.
Ones and ones, and then
Yeah.
tens and tens, and now hundreds and hundreds.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Can you believe that?
No, I cannot.
In just 3 short years.
Hundreds and hundreds. Well, we could probably have done
Imagine
it.
what would happen if we recorded every week.
Like if we actually put effort into this thing.
Like if we actually did what we were supposed to do.
She said she hooked up with us on our Chicken People podcast.
I love-
How did you find
I
that,
love
Gina?
that chicken people.
I listen. I can tell you sometimes I just listen to Chicken People just to make me laugh.
Can I tell you that sometimes, well, a lot of times, I'll go back and listen to our reruns, and I'll think, how are we not famous?
I think about it all the time.
all the time.
Why are we not famous?
Darcy, yes, we are just fun, and you are fun too. I love you, and
She
I
is
hope your baby
super
is
fun.
healing well.
Oh, yes.
little baby had
I know.
surgery
That
today.
baby is so freaking cute.
Yeah.
I can't even with how cute that baby is.
Anyway, if y'all love us, share our podcast, like,
Yes.
review. Those are the things that keep us going. So, yeah, we still need a chicken.
Can I
Field
tell?
trip.
Hey, listen, no joke. The other day, I was thinking about this because we were supposed to go in April, remember?
Oh, I
To
forgot.
Memphis,
Yeah.
and we didn't go.
We
But I
do
don't know
anything.
where there's another chicken show. Like, I couldn't really find a good.
I think it's just one. We're just going to have to wait till April next year.
No, there's chicken shows all over the country.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that may have been like a national one, but there's chicken shows all over the place. I couldn't figure out how to find it. And I know that sounds like
Did
just
you
Google it. Google it, what? Yeah, I mean, I did, but there's all these kind of old local websites, and they're really hard to. I mean, you Google it. You see if you can figure it out. Like it was very difficult, but I think
Oh, I don't
it would
want to
still
do
be.
difficult things.
Okay. Well, there you have it. All right.
All right.
Is Misty not afraid of chickens?
I would not get near a chicken. No, these chickens are caged. We don't have to touch chickens if we go.
Not if we don't want to.
No, I'll go to. I'm not scared if they're in a cage. I'm not going to put my fingers near them. I'm not going to touch them.
What if that
now?
guy-
If they took me to a field where they were running, I'm out.
What if I don't remember the
A
names.
chicken will chase you.
I don't know what the names of those two men that they had the same name that were on the documentary. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Was it Brett?
I don't remember what their names were, but they had the same name,
They
the
did have
two
the same.
guys.
Mhm.
But do you remember one of them actually wore a doctor's coat and held his chicken at the chicken show? What if we run into him? Would you touch the chicken if he's holding the chicken?
No,
If he's wearing his doctor's coat?
no,
Okay.
all
All right.
no. I'm not going to do
Brian, that's right. Darcy, that's right.
that. Brian.
Brian, that's right. That's
Darcy,
right.
Your memory's so good.
Sarah said she was sick during the chicken show, which is just as well, Sarah, because we didn't go either.
That's okay. What
Yeah.
were we doing in April?
My 8 jobs.
Oh, that's
that-
right.
I was so busy.
Oh, and I had surgery, so I couldn't go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It is late, and we are going to go. It looks like we've lost about half of our audience.
But thanks for still hanging in there and staring at us.
Yes. Thank you. Thank
So-
you. All right, guys. I'm going to go and go wipe off all this glam from my face.
And I'm going to drive home scared that somebody's hiding in my back seat.
Branson Bryant. You guys, we can't seem to hang up. And thank you, Judy. That was so nice of you to say.
Oh, do you like this
Thank you.
bleach?
Well, whose
Thank
do you like
you.
better?
Well, who do you think is prettier?
Yeah, which one?
If you had to rate us on a scale of 1
Mm-hmm.
to 10, who would be a 10 and who would be a 9? Just kidding. All right, we love y'all.
All right, bye.
Bye.